Hi, Adult Services Librarian Laura here to talk about our favorite books of 2020. So a lot of outlets are sharing the best of lists for this past year, and although this year has brought a lot of uncertainty and unfavorable things, I think that it's brought a lot of great reads. So I read about 3 to 4 books per week. I love to read. I wouldn't be in this profession otherwise. So I thought I would share my favorite books of 2020 with you, starting with memoirs. So my favorite memoir that I read this year was Solutions and Other Problems by Ali Brosh. This is also a graphic novel. It talks about depression and dealing with loss in a way that I think is very relatable. It also does so in a humorous way without being crass. I highly recommend this book by Ali Brosh. It's great for an introduction to graphic novels if you've never read a graphic novel before. This was definitely my favorite memoir and graphic novel that I read this year. The best cookbook that I read this year was Modern Comfort Food by Ina Garten, and I love Ina Garten. I love watching her show. It's great escapism to pretend that I can afford to live in the Hamptons and shop like she shops and cooks like she cooks. This is also a great cookbook. It does have attainable recipes. I found that some of her cookbooks in the past have ingredients that are far-fetched for my price range and the location that I'm living in, but I found that this one really does have a lot of great ideas as well as affordable options, unlike some of her other cookbooks that she's done before. So this was the best cookbook that I read this year. The best literary book that I read this year was Such a Fun Age by Kylie Reed. I loved this book. We actually did this book for the evening book club in, I believe it was November, and it led to a great discussion that talks about systemic racism as well as the effects of social media. And it is about a Black babysitter who is called into an affluent white family who has an emergency to take care of their 3-year-old daughter. And the Black babysitter, Mira, had been out with friends in the evening time, and so she wasn't in an outfit that looked like she would be a babysitter. She goes to the grocery store with the 3-year-old daughter of the white affluent family and is accused by the security guard of the grocery store of kidnapping the daughter. So that happens at the beginning of the book, and the rest of the book is the repercussions of what happens in both Amira's life and the family of the 3-year-old daughter. It is a very great book. It's easy to read. It's also a fun read, but it deals with some heavier topics, and it's done in a very great way. This is Kylie Reed's first book. She is a debut author, and I really look forward to what she brings to the table in the future. The best romance novel that I read this year was Beach Read by Emily Henry. This is about 2 authors who were in college together, a male author, a female author, and the male author is known for his heavier literary books, and the female author is known for her fluffy romance books. And they happen to be renting beach cabins next to each other and dare each other over the summer to swap trades. So the female romance writer is going to write a heavier literary book, and the male author is going to write a fluffy romance book. And it deals with their relationship over the summer as they are pushing themselves to write outside of their comfort zone. This was a deeper read than I thought it would be. It deals with heavier topics than most fluffy or beach read books do. However, it is a great romance book. It's a very good escapist read. It's not too heavy on some romance topics too, so if that makes you uncomfortable, It's not so heavy on that, and I highly recommend it. And Emily Henry, I am so looking forward to what she comes out with next. Finally, I wanted to talk about the best thriller book that I read this year, which was Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. I love Riley Sager. I will read anything that he writes. Home Before Dark, so far, I believe, is the best that I've read by him, and I've enjoyed all of his books that he's had so far. This is about a young woman who inherits a house from her father who has passed, and the father was a best-selling author in the early 90s about the house and how it has haunted them, and the family only stayed in the house for a few weeks before leaving in the middle of the night due to the haunting. Think Amityville Horror, that kind of thing. So in present day, the young lady who inherited the house didn't even know her father had owned it, and has to deal with renovating the house and trying to sell it. So I think this was definitely the best thriller book I read. It is a longer book. It jumps back and forth in time between the father's book of the 90s and present day of the young lady trying to renovate the house and sell it, and the mysteries that she encounters along the way. So those were the best books that I read in 2020. If you're interested, please let me know what were your favorite books. We also, in our packet of information that we give out in Curbside or at the circulation desk, have included other staff members' favorite reads of 2020. I wish you have a great, safe holiday season, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.